This case is presented as a past life memory case involving Chuck McMurray and the 18th century British clockmaker and inventor John Harrison. According to this account, the case began with a past life regression in 2016, though the identity of John Harrison was not derived until 2018. Later, on October 16th, 2019, in a session with Kevin Ryerson, spirit being Atun Ree affirmed that Chuck McMurray had been John Harrison in a past lifetime. Chuck describes his interest in regression as growing out of prior research into reincarnation and the afterlife. In September of 2016, he scheduled a session with Susan Weishart, a licensed psychotherapist and past life regression therapist. He says he approached the experience with both curiosity and nervousness, treating it as a new adventure. During the regression, he reports vivid and emotional memories. One of the first scenes opened with him crossing a bridge near a large, estate-like home on heavily wooded country property. He describes the home as mansion-like, with many windows, a long porch, and a U-shaped driveway. Based on the setting and the way people were dressed, he felt the memory belonged to the 1600s or early 1700s. When asked where he believed he was, he answered England, then more specifically, North or West Yorkshire. He also remembered hearing horses' hooves and carriage wheels on a gravel or brick road. In another early scene, he was dressed in clothing that reminded him of the British redcoats of the American Revolution, though he carried no weapon. He thought he may have been a boy playing soldier. He remembered being with a young male friend near a body of water crossed by a bridge, laughing and watching women step from horse-drawn carriages. Another memory involved illness. He recalled being a sick or wounded boy in a hospital, wearing loose-fitting clothing like cotton pajamas, and interacting with children, nurses, and caretakers. Later, Chuck notes that he learned John Harrison had been hospitalized with smallpox as a child and had been given a watch to amuse himself, an event historians have linked to Harrison's later career in clockmaking. Moving forward in the regression, Chuck says he experienced himself as a young adult who was married and had a child. He saw his wife and a young boy and felt he was a working man in his early 20s, an ordinary commoner. Later still, he saw himself as a clockmaker in a small town shop. He felt he was in his late 30s or early 40s. He described clocks ticking all at once, a tall workbench, and pencils, drawings, and clock parts spread across the table. He remembered feeling deeply absorbed, almost obsessed, with making and repairing clocks. At the time, these memories made little sense to him because he says he had never been interested in clockwork. Still, he notes that as a child he was comforted by the sound of grandfather clocks in his family's homes and had watched his father tune and repair one, though he was afraid to touch it himself. He also recalled keeping a very important book filled with inventions and ideas. He remembered pencil drawings everywhere and described the book as having a black and white spotted cover, like cowhide, with hundreds of pages. When asked about his wife and son, he says he was overwhelmed with sadness and felt that he had lost contact with them, perhaps through divorce or separation. He could not locate them in his mind and wondered whether they had moved west in England or emigrated to America. He especially remembered anguish over losing contact with his son. Later, Chuck notes that John Harrison lost both his first wife, Elizabeth Scott, and his son John early in life. In another regression scene, Chuck saw himself as a much older man living in a larger city like London. He remembered a two-story building with his shop below and living quarters above. Under the stairs was a closet where he kept prized clocks. He remembered the layout of the building and the windows in front. At this stage, he also recalled regularly walking to and from the post office, worried about a son named William and hoping to receive a letter from him. He could not reach him and kept waiting for word that he was safe. He also remembered that people on the street would ask him for the time because he was known as a clockmaker and that he carried a pocket watch of great importance. He further remembered working closely with a man nearby who was either a metallurgist or blacksmith and who had helped him professionally. He says this man died early and that he felt lasting gratitude toward him and believed he owed part of his success to him. From later research, Chuck learned that John Harrison had been continually assisted by George Graham, a watchmaker and instrument maker, who may correspond to the collaborator he remembered. He writes that he always loved understanding how engines worked and took joy in making them perform better, much as Harrison advanced the performance of clocks and marine timekeeping. The case closes by highlighting three core correspondences. First is physical resemblance. The article points to a striking similarity in facial features between John Harrison and Chuck McMurray. Second is past life passion, talent, and ability. Both are described as having strong natural gifts in mechanical engineering and invention. Third is the renewal of relationships through reincarnation. In this account, Chuck has been reunited in his present life with both a past life wife and a past life son, with recognition arising through intuition, emotional remembrance, and destiny. Taken together, this narrative presents Chuck McMurray's regression memories, later historical research, and the affirmation by Atun Ri as converging lines in a reincarnation case linking him with John Harrison, the clockmaker whose marine chronometer changed navigation history. After sharing his case, he was invited to join the board to help carry this research forward. Today, Chuck McMurray continues this work as an active volunteer supporting reincarnation research through the Institute for Life Continuity Studies. Chuck now works with a team dedicated to advancing the original mission of deepening understanding of reincarnation and encouraging greater empathy, peace, and connection among people. In his current role with the board, Chuck is applying modern technology to the study of reincarnation cases. Using artificial intelligence, facial comparison technology, and geospatial analysis, he is helping develop new research tools that allow investigators to examine historical correspondences, geographic patterns across lifetimes, and physical similarities between individuals. These technologies add a new analytical layer to reincarnation research. By combining historical records, facial pattern recognition, and spatial data analysis, Chuck is building systems that can help identify potential past life correspondences with greater precision than was previously possible. Chuck sees this work as a continuation of the inventive spirit associated with the life of John Harrison. Just as Harrison applied mechanical ingenuity to the challenge of navigation through the marine chronometer, Chuck now applies modern computational tools to explore the continuity of consciousness across lifetimes. In this way, what once appeared as mechanical creativity now finds expression through artificial intelligence and analytical technology. Through this effort, Chuck hopes to expand the field of reincarnation research and help others explore their own past life connections. The goal is not only discovery, but also the deeper understanding that may come from recognizing how human lives can be interconnected across time. For Chuck and the Life Continuity team carrying this work forward, the ultimate aim is to foster greater compassion, unity, and peace in the world.